welcome back. Well, it wasn't exactly love at first sight for Montell Jordan and his wife, Kristin, but the second date proved to be what solidified a love that's lasted about 23 years. Montell and Kristin are here to give us a look inside their book. This is how we do it, making your marriage a masterpiece. So we're so glad to have y'all here today. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Glad to be here.
Yes,
Thank you.
what a treat for us. Okay, 23 years when you talk about, being in the industry and music and all of that, that's a lifetime nowadays.
Absolutely.
It seems like having made it that long. So let's start at the beginning. How did you two meet? And then I have to know what happened with the Running Man, some kind of dance that didn't impress you, Kristin.
This is the thing. We met actually at a college fraternity ball, and neither of us had any business there. I'm actually a Zeta, he's a Kappa, and it was an AKA ball.
Okay.
Right. And he asked me to dance, and I said, no, I'm good. And he kept asking. I said, well, if we dance, will you leave me alone?
Persistence.
Yeah. And so as we're dancing, needless to say, I'm kind of not paying him any attention. And then so he decides to make sure I am paying him attention.
So
and
going to full-blown Running Man.
Oh, no.
You know, not like I said, not today's Running Man,
Not
but
the little
full-blown Running Man.
like
Big Running Man.
Yeah.
And you said
at 6'8". I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest, arms flailing. I was like, let's talk.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Never mind.
can
No
picture
dancing.
this.
Just talk.
But she fell in love, and then we got 4 kids now.
So it all worked
worked.
out, right?
It worked.
Just
Is that how
easy
that works?
peasy. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I want to know about this too. You actually hid your marriage. Once it did work out, you went on a second date. He made it to the next level, but you hid your marriage.
So when we got into the record business, we got a record deal, and they told us that he would sell more records if he was single.
Wow.
And
You would be a more respectable businesswoman if people didn't know she was the wife, if she was
Okay.
just Kristin Hudson. So she kept her maiden name. I became Montell Jordan, the single guy. And when it was asked, are you have anybody special in your life? I would say I'm married to my music. And so we believe that there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And so if I'm going around saying I'm married to my music, what does that make her?
his mistress.
And so we start living out this art imitates life or life imitates art type of relationship where our marriage is hidden, but I'm married to music, she's married to business, and we're trying to figure out how to make our marriage work.
Wow, how interesting. When you talk about that aspect of your marriage.
Absolutely. Well, it's that thing that plays out. It's those very obstacles that play out because we put those things first. We put business first. We put success and fame first.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, well, obviously things changed.
Yeah.
And then, you started obviously letting people know that you were married. But one thing that's really important to you that you talk about in your book, you talk about priorities that are found in the Bible. And obviously that's something that both of you take to heart, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I get the honor of being an executive pastor at Victory Road Church in Norcross, Georgia, and we get to do ministry together. I'm over music ministry, men's ministry, and we get to do marriage ministry together. And from that standpoint, we believe that people talk about marriages in the Bible, and a lot of marriages in the Bible are not good marriages in the Bible. But we do believe that kind of Christ gives us a really good template of what marriage should look like. And those things we call a blueprint, or we call them first things first, which is basically if you put God first, you put your spouse next, you put your children next, you put your church next, and then you put your, what is it after
Family
that?
and
Family and friends, and then your career, and then yourself. And if you can put those things in proper perspective, you can have a successful marriage that will last forever.
Yeah, something else that you mentioned can play a role in that is being slow to speak, and that can help with miscommunication. That's not always easy to do, though, right?
Absolutely. It's funny, I came up with this little clever thing because I used to be very quick with my words, so I had to create what I call the garage door of literally, when I want to say something, I kind of put my hand on my cheek, and it's me letting the garage door go down, so the words go back down as opposed
I like
to
that.
coming out.
I like that. Goes right there, huh?
And it's really important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we
Okay.
both kind of study communication, and we know that 90% of communication is nonverbal. So from that standpoint, it's kind of like, it's not so much what you're saying, it's what you don't say.
so true.
And so we had to really do good at the words that we are saying to make sure that they're effective in what we really mean.
And that they count.
And that they count. I like that. So when we get this book, what are we going to learn? What are couples going to learn that's going to help them with their marriage? I was taking a look at it now, and it looks like there's like 3 parts. What's inside of this box? So what do we have?
We have the book, and we have a DVD and a video curriculum of it, and then the study guide that goes along with it. And it takes you on an 8-week journey of basically empowering your spouse and yourself to live a better life, and how to not give up on marriage. I think a lot of people give up before it's time, and there is no time.
And some people can, like, you can just get the book by itself, but ideally we want couples to be able to take a journey together to make their marriage better. We even want small groups or people that are in communities, couples that want to do life together, to be able to get together and have a resource available to them that counters what the world is saying about marriage, and just to take a look at what we believe a higher power, what God says about marriage, because God created marriage and the world didn't create it, God did. And we truly believe that if we do it His way, He created something that gives us an eternal strategy rather than having an exit strategy.
You two are goals, right? They're goal. I mean, you know, you look at them, you look at how they talk to each other, how they treat each other. It sounds like obviously you're doing something right. 23 years.
We're
Congratulations
good.
on
We're
that.
good.
He's my greatest gift. I got to
Love
treat
it.
him like that.
That's right.
Come on
I
now.
like that. They're awesome. This is how we do it. Making Your Marriage a Masterpiece by Montell and Kristin Jordan will be on sale tomorrow. Thank you both so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you. We
Pleasure to meet
appreciate
you. Let's check back in with meteorologist